All right. Told you it was a brief pause for the cause. Brief pause for the call, so you can make your way back and turn your cameras on, panelists. All right. Thank you. I appreciate everyone for coming back. Um, Now, so we've had a chance to have some dialogue, have some productive dialogue, and really thought provoking dialogue. Um, and I want to give you guys an opportunity to discuss now how do we move people to action? What do we do to get the city to change now? We've talked about the problem. We've discussed that it's everyone's if we want to fix this brain drain issue, it's everyone's issue, and we have to make it everyone's issue, and we have to get everyone to kind of champion something to make it better. So from all of you, Jasmine, you were last the last time to. I want to start with you to kind of just tell us how we can move to action and what that looks like.
I think a lot of people moved to action this past election cycle. That's the one thing that has to happen. We need more people who are going to be on the ground and making the concerns heard of what needs to happen in this city. Things didn't turn out like a lot of us wanted, neither here nor there. So now that we have this leadership in place, we have to show up and ensure that the leadership is listening and really working with, again, the business sector, the nonprofit sector, the advocate peoples, so we can start seeing the changes we want. When we show up in those places that actually matter, they can no longer ignore us. And that's what we saw this past year. People really started showing up at city council. People started pushing on their city council members and the mayor to say, hey, we want this change. And I think when you look at it from whatever segment of it that you want to change, that's how it's going to happen, is getting involved. It's also, I think Rebecca said it, holding feet to the fire. We have to start holding their feet to the fire and ensuring that they're listening. There was a part on here, I think it said old heads. Old heads might need to start bringing along the younger heads, so that way there's that mentorship. One of the things that I heard that was disheartening on this campaign trail, talking to like high school students and those who were getting ready to graduate college, and those who did, and what they were saying is, if I leave, I don't want to come back because then people look at me like I'm a failure, and we can't have that. So for older people to start bringing younger people up under them in a mentor kind of way, so that they can see how do I see myself fitting in here as I am going through my education, and how can it actually impact the good of the city. I think those are some of the small things, and including our youth in our boards and the decision making processes. And instead of just saying, hey, this is the youth piece, you go handle that, actually give them a chance and a voice to actually build up this city, because it's going to be theirs. So the old heads, y'all already did it. Our generation is in the middle, and we're getting passed over. The city is about to be the next generations, and we have to ensure that we're building a city that they're going to want to stay in and take care of, because at the end of the day, again, if everybody leaves, the city dies. There's no money, there's no people to keep it thriving, and that's not what we want.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else want to add something? Let's go to Let's go to
I'll
Rebecca.
yeah, I'll add on to that. And I apologize if you hear my daughter. I have a 3-month-old, and she's going through a growth spurt right now and is a little upset. So I apologize if you hear her crying. I would kind of just echo what I said earlier. Encourage young folks to speak up and get involved in your place of work. We spend majority of our lives at work, sadly, in some cases. And so I think if we can make change in the workplace, that can at least be a start to getting folks to want to stay. If you have a really inclusive work environment and you feel like you can thrive and are taken seriously at work, I think that's a good first step. It's not always easy, right? Especially getting these older folks to change, right? So I'll give you a small example. We in our office this year added our pronouns to our signatures, and we had a lot of professors in the college just straight up ask, why do I need to do that, or why do you have that in your signature? So really small things like that they may just not understand. So starting there, kind of those small incremental changes, and then again, holding their feet to the fire, making sure that those big changes happen. So it's more than just like a statement, put out on the website of, we're committed to diversity. Okay, well, prove it, and I'll help you get there, but you've got to do it. So really just empowering young folks to step up at work and recognize your power.
That's insightful, powerful. Thank you. DeJuan.
My biggest thing is investment in the arts and access to and the prevalence of, because when we talk about other cities, the first thing we comment on is usually the music, the art, the food, the thing that you got to experience. Yet in Omaha, a lot of our arts are regulated to like entities. It isn't just a pervasive part of what we do. And like, so, and that means investment in the arts for our schools and in all forms and mediums and formats. And then just like inviting it into the public realm. I think it needs to come out of these like, Omaha Performing Arts solely, or Benson First Friday by itself. Really, these are groups that are doing great work, but it's regulated to that entity and that you only fund that thing, versus it's something that we do across the city, because the people in the suburbs need culture just as much as people in the urban core do, but you have to leave your community to go get a part of something. And that then forces you to be like, well, I might as well just go. If I'm going to leave, I might as well just go somewhere else where it's everywhere. And so like, and that's where you get your colors. That's where you get your beauty. That's where you get the things that you admire about a place and that you encounter and enjoy and that inform your experience. And, like Rebecca was talking about her trip, we just walked around and looked at the art because it was everywhere. And it just gave you something to do. You would have more young people, families, groups of folks, and travelers, and they come here, like leave with the impression like, wow, Omaha values the arts. Omaha creates experiences for people, no matter where you are, where you're from, how much money you make, that you can come here and have a insightful and enlivening experience. The reason Zachary Bear Heels is not alive today is because he didn't have a place to go. There wasn't a place to be accepted. There wasn't a place to greet you and say, welcome to Omaha. Here's how you can get connected. Do you need help? Any of those things. We don't have a Grand Central Station. City Hall isn't a place that you go and hang out at. So we like, what is our heart? And, you can go to larger cities and find cultural hearts centers where, you'll be accepted, you'll be welcomed, and that you'll be directed to where, to something that interests you or that suits your needs. And they ask you like, what are your skills? What do you do? What do you like? And we don't have anyone here to do that kind of inventory intake with the new folks who come, because then we can help get people connected. So you just wander in the city and there might be something that is everything you want right here, but if no one's talking to you and there's no indication that it's available, then you won't be a part of it, and then you're more likely to leave.
That addition. Hassan.
Yeah, I think there has to be more opportunities, especially in corporate Omaha, if you want to call it that way, when it comes to advancement opportunities, especially for young Black and brown folks that feel like they don't belong or they don't get those kind of opportunities. So these are things that I think some of these companies need to look at to see how best they can include everybody. Young people like myself, we got to keep speaking up and speaking out the things that we feel like are important to us, whether that's going to be for things like, the dreamers or, gays and lesbians or anything. When it comes to inclusivity, everybody has to be involved. We have to keep speaking out and, keep speaking up. We cannot just feel like, okay, if I speak up, I'm going to get somebody mad or whatever. It doesn't matter. If you care about something, keep speaking up, vote, understand the people that are going to represent you in the community, because I think that's very important, City Hall and all those things. So I think it's going to be a collective effort. For me, I'm an advocate for young professionals and young people when it comes to, issues that are in the city or things that concern me. So we got to keep doing that, and hopefully things will change for the best.
All right, I agree. And everyone that commented, you guys spoke to different aspects of the city, so it's not just one person. You spoke to different aspects of entities that need to come together and kind of work together, and I appreciate that because I've experienced, and I don't know if you guys have experienced, but a lot of times when we want something to change, we kind of want one person to just fix it. We usually tend to just blame the government. It's their fault. Fix it. So I want to give you guys an opportunity to go around. If you could wave a magic wand over the city and change one aspect to stop brain drain of this city, what would it be? I'll give you 10 seconds. I'll do the what's the van up the I forgot what that sitcom was.
Okay, I got it.
All right, there we go.
It is respect for the land that we are on. And meaning Omaha means the people who move against the current. It is a tribe, it is a language, it is a way of life. If you don't know where you come from, you don't know where you're going. And you can live here your whole life and never know what Omaha means, what it meant to be a steward of the land. And so right now we're at a point where we're on stolen land where they just build buildings to put rich white man's names on it. And that's just the legacy of Omaha from 1855 to present. Like, look it up. So when we are like, whoa, why are people leaving? It's because there is no like respect or reverence for where we are. It's really about transactionalism, and that translates into our relationships, that translates into our architecture, that translates into our culture and our transportation, everything. And so when you are so disconnected from the land on which you come from, you're not going to care what people feel or what they're thinking about or like what kind of life they want to live. You're just trying to get your coin and get. So that is first and foremost for me.
So if you could wave a magic wand, what would, and I'll kick that over to the one's back. Okay, if you can wave, what's the one thing you'll change?
That everyone knows what Omaha means.
Okay, there we go. Awesome, thank you. Let's go with a sign. If you could wave a magic wand over Omaha, what would it and to stop brain drain? What would you change?
I think one thing will be just be more welcoming to immigrants and other people that are not from here, that feel like they come, they study, and they don't have opportunity to stay. They're leaving and they're taking their knowledge and talent elsewhere. So they need to feel more welcome. They need to feel like they can come in, and then there's opportunities for them too.
Awesome, thank you, Mrs. Harris. What's up?
Mine would be changing the race relations, reconciling with our past, kind of amongst the lines of what Dewan was saying and Hassan. We have to really start facing the fact that we have contentious race relations here. Again, when that survey came out about Black YPs and all the recommendations started rolling down, what I told them, if we don't keep at the forefront the crux of why a lot of this continues to happen, it's not going to matter. So my wand would approach and diminish the racism that we see, whether it's overtly, inadvertently, structurally, institutionally.
All areas. I get it. I think that would be that'd be one of mine as well. And Rebecca, what would you change?
Yeah, mine would probably go along with what I was saying earlier with workplaces. So just making sure that everyone feels welcome in the workplace, included, appreciated, and really just feels at home. So that would probably be, if I could wave my magic wand, it would be for workplaces to really value their employees.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you. And my man Raheem, if you could come back, man, you've been privy to listening to all of this excellence and this greatness, man. What insightful words can you provide us with?
Man, I got some insightful words, and I got actually a couple of questions from the audience.
Okay.
Before I get into all that, I want to first say, man, thank you for all the panelists coming out. It's good to see all these young faces. You know what I'm saying? Boy, so much young faces up here. You know, and we're talking about these issues that's affecting us. I just wanted to say that first. You know, thank you for coming out, bringing all of your, you know, your young expertise, your young innovation, all your young faces, bringing it all out here. You know, because one of the questions they actually revolve around, you know, you guys. So in terms of one of the questions, they were asking about, in terms of our young people, all right? They're saying a lot of Omaha corporations and organizations, they seek professionals from other places, from other cities, from other states. And the question is referencing the OPS, school attendant, pretty much all the leadership in DHHS and like just other people, these big entities, they go out and source talent, people to fill these big roles and positions from other places. You know what I'm saying? And just based on me, I don't know many of you guys, but based on your conversations, I feel like we cousins now. But based on what I learned, I can tell that the majority of y'all, are from Omaha. You talk about Omaha, you're like, yeah, Omaha's this, Omaha's that. My man Dewanye, he was like, this is what it is. This is the culture. This is what it is. You know what I'm saying? My man, the sign over there, you can tell he ain't from Omaha. He over here got the polish, the walls in the back, you know what I'm saying? He got, nice, good job. You're talking about, man, I'm just out here getting opportunity, brother. But with all that being said, the question is, a lot of the corporations in Omaha seek these professionals from other places, and they overlook the people that are here. What do we need to do to fix that problem first?
Platforms for young people, period. Something we're doing with Noise this summer is putting cameras in the hands of as many young people as we can. Take your pictures, make a video, create something, and then put it on their platform and share it. As well as facilitating interviews between young people and the elders so they can hear the stories and they can understand the legacies that exist here. It wasn't until I started connecting with my elders and really hearing how incredible this place is, I was like, oh, like we have the juice, we just don't know we have it, and that's really important. So like, whatever we can do to get their voice, their opinions or perspective out, whether that's doing another thing like this with even younger people, whether that's, getting their art out, but showing that they have hope, they have dreams, they have desires, and they observe us, they're watching us. And we may act like, oh, we know what we're doing. We've been doing this for so long. We're grown-ups, but really we have no idea. And they are the ones who have to inherit what is going on and have to clean up all the messes that we're making right now. And to be honest, like as one of those young people who were looking at this mess and be like, you didn't even talk to me before I got here. You just told me to go to school and go get a degree and figure it out. But you didn't tell me how important my home is, let alone how I can be involved in having a hand in fixing it. So it's that platform for young people.
For me, I think it's also creating those pipelines. We always talk about these pipelines, right? We have the high skill, high demand, high wage job. We have these companies that have the C-suites where people don't look like Black and brown people. So what we need to do is start creating these pipelines from young, middle school, high school on up. And again, it's going to be your corporate positions, your nonprofits, and your city government having to come together in order to make that happen. And the school system, because we have an abundance of young people in the school system, right? And what are we doing to show them the opportunities that are there for these high skill, high demand, high wage jobs where there's actually growth in those companies to where they don't have to look outside of Omaha for the talent to fill those positions. And, you know, when I was younger, it was always go to school, you know, meaning college. And what we see now is a lot of those skilled and trade jobs that can't be filled because we were all told the only way for us to succeed was to get a degree, where you have all these jobs now that paying over $100,000 just for a skill or trade. And so we also need to look at how do we differentiate people and giving them their options on what's going to be best for them instead of telling them what's going to be best for them.
All right. Anybody want else tackle that before I move on to the next question? All right. No worries. So, got one more question. And this revolves around you guys, but it more specifically references us as young people. Because I enjoyed the conversation tonight. The conversation was very thorough. There was a whole lot of solutions being brought apart that look forward to moving to action. You know what I'm saying? But there was a lot of talk about these influencers that have impact, you know, in terms of our way of life. So like you guys talk about the workplace and, you know, the organization and the politicians and, you know, all of these people who have, you know, in some sort of way of another, you know, projected, you know, influence in terms of our quality of life as young people. All right. So the question revolves around, you know, there was a comment and there was a question. So the comment was, you know, they think, you know, in terms of making this whole, in terms of Omaha, because one of the things Jasmine said, she was like, Omaha don't know what kind of city it want to be. Wake up in the morning like, I'm going to be a big city. By the time we go to bed, it's like, all right, I'm going to be a small city. You know what I'm saying? What kind of city you going to be? So I think that's the question, and how the comment and the question is going in towards. So as individuals who are young, who are here, who are skilled, I feel like it's on us to make something happen. Nobody's going to make Omaha better unless we work at making it better for what we want. All right. The question is, how do we as people, as professionals, as minorities, or as just the disadvantaged, young, talented, intelligent person, looking at Omaha for what it is? One, how do we work together? Because you guys said it the best. Omaha's a kind of big town one day, small town one day. But in its essence, Omaha's really cliquish. You know what I'm saying? Some people don't mess with some people. Other people ain't trying to mess with these folks. You know what I'm saying? How do we work together? You know, I got on some mid-drip on some Malcolm X stuff. By many means necessary. How do we work together to make this what we want? So that's the question.
It has to do with like just being involved, holding people accountable, you know. Young professionals, we have to come together and work together, understand that the city is big enough for all of us, making sure that, you know, the people that don't feel like they belong, we pull them in and making sure that they're comfortable. Whatever that looks like, we got to keep speaking up and holding the people accountable that are in leadership positions.
I would say get involved too. So as young people, you know, sometimes I'm trying to think of how to word this correctly. I would say when I look at like boards around Omaha, not a lot of them have young people or minorities on their boards. Maybe now they're starting to, but I think getting involved in that way can really help and just kind of encourage collaboration amongst people that wouldn't be connected otherwise. So just, again, stepping up and getting involved and recognizing that as a young person, we bring really like new and fresh ideas and a different point of view that perhaps these, you know, older folks in Omaha hadn't considered before. So yeah, just stepping up, getting involved.
I would say explore your interests and talk to new and different people. After I graduated, I traveled for a few months and came back to Omaha. And in that time period, I was like, what am I interested in? Not what I learned in school, not what people are telling me is important, but what am I genuinely interested in and what do I like? And then talking to people about those things and new people that I don't know. In Omaha, to say it's 1 degree separation. So like, I can see Susie Buffett at Burgers Bagels, and I can see Jalen walking down the street. Like, we can see like the big names, and they're just people like us. So if we then, know what our interests are and are learning about those and then talking to people about it, you start to build momentum. And that's how you can find your way onto those boards. Many of the boards I joined later was because I was like, I like bikes. And someone's like, oh, you might like this organization. I like art. Well, you might like the Omaha Summer Arts Festival board. And they start recommending you because you were starting to say what your interests are and being there and investing in those. So take time to find out about yourself and then talk to people about it.
I agree. And that's what I tell young people all the time. Don't wait to be invited. Show up. Because if you don't show up to where you're interested at, people aren't going to know. But then what I'm also going to say is for the older people who are watching, start reaching out to these young people and bringing them to the table too. That's what we need. We need to take a page out of the book that wasn't written by the older people that are there right now and saying, hey, I see something in you, and I think you would be great here. That's what didn't happen a lot with our generation.
All right. Well, thank you all of the panelists, for your insightful words, for your adding to great discussion. I do want to recognize there was someone in the audience who asked about just and I think you did a great job, Dewan, of addressing that. But to me, she said that even the notion or the term young professional can feel exclusive or privileged. I think that we all are our own people, and I don't think that we have to discriminate or have to put each other in categories or boxes. And anything that you do, if you work in, you're a professional at it because you're getting paid to do it. So I'm just going to leave that there. So the term young is you're as young as how you feel, and if you're getting paid to do something, you're a professional at it. So I'm gonna leave that right there. But I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for doing this, and I'm gonna let Raheem bring my man that pays all the bills back on to get it.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring my guy Tim on. Sorry, I think he got some technical difficulties, but as you know, he's making his way to the stage. I do got a comment that I want to share from the audience. Someone said, they want to thank all the panelists for their candid comments, because people come on this show scripted, but y'all brought all the flavor. You know what I'm saying? So they appreciate all your candid comments on what can be improved, especially in the general thought of having more of a voice in decision making. So with that, I'm gonna give it off to my man Tim Clark.
Right on. Raheem. Hey, you guys, this has been some very fruitful, very meaningful conversation. And, the whole ideal of this, not only just not to talk and have conversation, but really to be pointed and very intentional about solutions. And I took some very copious notes. You guys, old folks out there, hopefully you're listening, okay? And we got to listen. But one of the comments that somebody said, accountability. The corporate America, corporate Nebraska, it's time that we stop talking about it and being about it. And we say we want diversity and inclusion. What does that really mean? And the corporate Omaha will play a significant role to stop the brain drain. How do we increase internships, apprenticeship programs, all those kind of things? Because somebody said, I think a son said, how do we create a more welcoming environment where you feel welcome, even if you're brought in here from a corporation? How do we connect you? And then really in terms of just Dewan, in terms of just, man, you went back to the river, brother, of just, we're not respecting the land. And it starts there. And then Jasmine, the core, we skirt and scurry around really the core in terms of racism, all of those kind of things that just, if we don't deal and have real conversation about what it is, how do you begin to move forward in terms of solution? And Rebecca, I know you represent the chamber. The chamber has to play a significant part in this. This is about business, as Raheem would say, baby. It's about business.
It's about
and
that
the business
business,
of
baby.
Omaha. If we're gonna truly make this a city for everyone, and not just say that, we got to do that. And it starts about having meaningful jobs and meaningful opportunities for promotions, and focus and be intentional about people of color, and not to stop running from the strength of our diversity, run to it. But at the end of the day, it really is about Superman, Superwoman is not coming. We got to go get it. We got to take it. And I'm gonna leave with this here. I once was young like you guys, okay? I still think I am young, okay? Because there's some folks older than me.
Hey, laughing at you now. You still young, brother. Look at that
Keep
glow.
that down, Ryan. Keep that down. Keep that down. But the point is this: 30 years ago, 20 years ago, I'm well traveled. DeJuan, I'm an artist, man. I love arts. I love your lead in terms of just, I think we lead with art and culture. The rest will follow. Economics. Look at Benson District. Look at what's happening in terms of just Blackstone. It's culture. And I think we can't wait for old people and adults to do it for us. Every strong movement in this country, when you think about it, has been charged by young people. And so it's like, what are we waiting for? We, as young people, is like, you got to go for it, do it. And 20 years ago, when I was through my travel up with people, music all over the world, I came back here, and it was tough being here because you've been exposed to the world. And I said to myself, as a young person at that time, I'm going to bring the world to me. I'm going to shape and mold my world, because how many people you know, they got to go out of town for concerts, they got to go out of town for that culture enrichment, especially people of color. They feel we got to always migrate to Kansas City. Why can't we create that here and a better Kansas City? That when I was working for Love Jazz and Arts Center, I started the Jazz Festival. This is what I was talking about 25 years ago. I'm the co-founder of the Omaha Riverfront Jazz and Blues Festival because I went and saw it happening all over the place. I'm like, why can't we do that here? We got to move beyond why can we do it here and why can we not do it here to we can do it here with collective thought and collective energy. So I just want to leave you guys with that. Thank you so much for taking the time. It is our time. Leadership matters. And it's showing up in terms of just, we better recognize that leadership matters. Look what this country has been through in the last 24 months. Leadership matters. And I think this awakening, what happened here in Omaha, we had a mayoral election, city council election. There is an opportunity for us to turn the page and do a takeoff from where we're at. Not saying that the people that's come before us have not done anything. How do we do a takeoff from where they left it? But I think one of the things we said, accountability. We got to start holding each other accountable. Holding each other accountable. So with that, brother Gerald, man, thank you for your leadership tonight, navigating us through this meaningful conversation, brother. Anything you want to close with, and we're gonna go ahead and let people enjoy the rest of the evening. And I do want to congratulate all the folks that won. The mayor, Jean Stothard. Jean is going to play a key role in this. She's going to come with us, or it's going to be forced upon her. And I like Jean, right? Hold that shirt up. But we're going to do it collectively together. District 2, we got a new elected city council, a person, Juanita Johnson. She won. The same thing, is how do we do this together? Is going to be forced upon you if we don't really reach out and figure out a way in terms of just listen to the people. And that was largely her platform in terms of grassroots. But now, how do we activate all that? Because it's time to roll up your sleeve and do the work, because the people are tired. People are sick and tired of being tired. And the word on the street, Jasmine, Dewan, Rebecca, Hassan, and Gerald, Raheem, it is time for North Omaha to win. And not just any kind of win, but it's time for them to win big. Go big or stay at home.
Man.
Win staying at home.
Hell no.
I'm out of here, Ryan. I'm out of here, Gerald. Go ahead and give us some closing remarks, man, and we're good. Thank you, Jessica. I want to thank my daughter. She's the engine behind this. So Jessica, thank you for your creativity and really helping to navigate us through this. Blessings.
Thank y'all for coming out. God bless and good night.
Thank you.
Wait.
Thank you.
We couldn't hear you.
I said, thank y'all for coming out. God bless and good night.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Appreciate you taking the time to our sponsors, Douglas County Health Department, Department of Health and Human Services. Thank you. This effort in terms of vaccination, go get the information. Get informed so you can make an informed decision if you're going to take that vaccine or not. Thank you to all of our sponsors.